Can we talk about the star? San Antonio Spurs have found two franchise cornerstones. We all know the first one, Keldon Johnson. They just paid the man. Okay, and then Devin Vassell, guy who's gotten better with every single season. And the guy is the perfect archetype for the modern day 3-and-D wing. A guy who's a swingman, which, if you guys don't know what a swingman is, it's kind of an antiquated term that not a lot of people use anymore. I feel like some guys do, but some people call, like, there's a combo forwards and swing forwards, a swingman and a combo forward. A combo forward's a guy who can play small forward, power forward. A swingman's a guy who can play shooting guard, small forward. Like Keldon Johnson's a combo forward, arguably a guy who can play multiple positions, the 2, the 3, and the 4, but he's more of a combo forward for the Spurs, while Devin Vassell's more of a swingman, shooting guard, small forward. I don't hear many people say swingman anymore, but look, Devin Vassell's a guy that every single season since leaving the Florida State Seminoles, guy's also 6'7" now, came in at 6'5". He's on a stretch right now where it's 5 games in a row averaging double digit. And if you exclude the game that he missed, I think this goes on to 9 games of double digit points. For the season, the guy's averaging 20 points a night, 45% from the field, 41.2 from 3. And that's not on like a limited attempts. Now, this guy's taking like 8 threes a night, a steal a night, half a block, and 4 assists. Devin Vassell, guy went from 5.5 points his rookie season, 12.5 his sophomore season, to 20 points his third season, and it's literally the shot attempts have just slowly increased, and it's fantastic. You can't even tell me that this is a team with Jeremy Sochan, who is underrated as hell. Right here, they have their 3s, their 3 core guys, like their shooting guard, small forward, and power forward. Because with Jeremy Sochan, you expect Jeremy Sochan to be the power forward, which allows Keldon Johnson to slide down into his more natural position of wing. And then you have your second wing, aka shooting guard, because they run more of 2-wing, power forward, a center, guard lineup is what the Spurs like to do. So they run 2 wings, Vassell and Johnson. Sochan's is the perfect power forward for their future. Love the one-handed free throws. And I personally think if they don't trade Jakob Poeltl, it's because they're in a verbal agreement that they're going to pay Poeltl whatever he wants in unrestricted free agency. Trey Jones looks like at least a high-level backup point guard, a guy who could develop into a decent starting point guard, but at the very least, long-term backup point guard. They've got the pieces here, and I think this is a team that's really 1 year away from being a year away. And the credit, too, is Devin Vassell, guy who I think is not being mentioned in Most Improved Player of the Year. And you see it on a nightly basis. Like, Devin Vassell just has the opportunity of slicing and dicing people with that three-point shot. But the thing is that he's a guy who also has really good ball handling skills. I think that's something that people aren't realizing is the ball handling skill that Devin Vassell, a guy who's having a breakout season and being able to play off of Jones, Johnson, and we've seen him because entering the draft, we knew he was going to be a solid, 3-and-D wing who was going to be a crafty on-ball defender who could develop into a shooting threat, and that's all coming to fruition. And he's now, I think, exceeding expectations, being a lot better, being a player that's incredibly fun. And I know it's not necessarily like a Ja-Morant leap into like all-star level, but I think his name definitely should be put in the most improved conversation. And I don't think he'll win it, but one of the reasons that this leap is happening is because DeJounte Murray and Derek White are gone. We're seeing the Spurs have a lot more leeway into developing their players, and Devin Vassell's in second place right now with Keldon Johnson. Another thing I've said before, it's the ball handling, the passing, and pick and roll situations that's really helping this guy. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Was there anything I might have missed? But yeah. And I think this team, the Spurs, as much as people probably talk shit about Greg Popovich, the greatest coach of all time, look at the Indiana Pacers. I think the Spurs have noticed that's the modern NBA. You need long, athletic, defensive guys, okay? And when I mean defensive, they don't necessarily have to be defensive, but guys who have the possibility of becoming good defenders. And you see that over in Indiana with Benedict Mathurin, Chris Duarte, Andrew Nembhard, and Tyrese Haliburton, these like bigger, longer, two-way transition guys. And that's what you're seeing here with San Antonio too. Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, Trey Jones. Okay? All guys that arguably, if given the right development, are going to be pretty decent defenders, okay? At the very least, that they could all be plus defenders because they have the skill sets and the physical profile to be good defenders. I think that's the modern archetype to build a team, and that's what the San Antonio Spurs are doing.